Fellas, I wanted to do a quick little review since this is my first tow with a BD two-piece manifold. You know, call it first impressions, right? It's kind of a lot easier to do it while it's fresh in your head than kind of reminiscing what it was and what you experienced. I don't haul these very often. This is well, if you know, a telehandler, about 18,000 pounds, and then 40 foot tandem dual trailer. So there's plenty of air drag, tire drag, and plenty of weight. I wanted to talk about what I experienced with this manifold. It's kind of weird because, let me tell you, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited. And, excuse me, I was kind of confused when it was just installed, because if I were not to be towing with this manifold, guys, I would tell everyone it's not really a necessity. It's more of an accessory, supporting mod to going up in power. I'll just leave it at that, because I felt like I lost about 1400 RPM. I lost a little bit of drive pressure in the turbo, where in return it slowed down the boost, and quote unquote my truck wasn't as responsive at 1400. I should probably say 1250, 1300, because around 14 I think they even out in 15 you can start feeling a difference, but that's when you're empty. Now it's a whole different ball game when you put a load behind it. Here, let me get this camera situated. It's a whole different ball game when you put a load behind it, because now you got that turbo working. So first thing that stands out to me, the vehicle is more relaxed. It's kind of weird to explain, but just follow along, you'll hear what I mean. So as far as boosting and power, the vehicle is more relaxed. The vehicle there's less drive pressure. I hear the turbo less. And what I mean by that, it's not as stressed out, right? Now this truck is tuned, so it's definitely optimized on the tuning side of things. But that exhaust, the factory exhaust, you could hear that pressure. Call it for what it is. I could hear that pressure, right? That drive pressure, that you could definitely hear the pressure from the engine to the turbo, and it makes the turbo spin harder. But with this BD turbo manifold, or exhaust manifold, which turbo mounts on, it breathes better and easier, so you don't hear that pressure as much. Therefore the engine reacts softer, smoother, and relaxed. It's like as if the engine's making less power. Now, don't confuse that for a light load. 18,000 pounds plus, 9,000 is what's behind this truck. And this is a 3,500, 342 rear end. That multiplier is pretty low. It's good for open road, but it's not the best towing ratio, right? An all-around best towing ratio would be, 373 stocks, and a tuned truck probably 355s. I think 355s is where it's at, given the fact that, going through Montana, speed limit's 80 miles an hour. So, anyways, back to this manifold. Now, I don't have a probe, but just so seems like it on this trip, I don't grab temps as quick, right? So you're gonna say, well, how can you say you're not grabbing temps as quick? Well, guys, the probe is the exhaust EGT, right? Exhaust gas temperatures. Now, that's from the combustion chamber. Now, if your combustion chamber is changed, which in our case it's not necessarily changed, it might be just a slight bit, but with the gases coming out easier, right? So there's less strain, so follow along. Gas combustion, not necessarily, nothing really changed in there besides slightly less temps, but the fact that the gases could come out quicker and easier, right? Because the manifold flows better. Your temps come down in the combustion chamber. Now, if the combustion chamber is running cooler, your oil temps are going to be affected, so is your coolant, right? Because you got your coolant running around the cylinder walls. So there you have it. I firmly believe the EGTs are a little lower because I just don't build temps. I don't grab temps. This thing is not an easy load, and I'm out here on these highways headed to I-90, trying to get on the interstate. The interstate's a lot easier to tow because a lot less left, right, and just more relaxed atmosphere here. On one way each direction, you got to watch, just a lot more to watch, and you got more bumps and humps in the road where it makes it harder for when you're towing. It slows you down, speeds you up. You got to keep your speed in check. Speed limit being out here 70, and me towing, I try to keep it between 65, 70. We just went through those little zigzags. I think we kept it around 60. Now that the road opened up, 65 is probably where I'll be at. Now, with that being said, it's easier to control the speed as well because your engine's more relaxed. How so? Well, you don't have to back off because your temps are climbing fast. You're not stressing out your equipment. Number one killer is temperature. It doesn't take much to hurt an engine. I mean, obviously, you spike your temp, come back, nothing's going to happen. But you hold it there long enough, it's... Hold on a second, guys. Why am I in fourth gear? Here's another thing I did notice. It could be good and bad. The truck became lazy to downshift. I take it for what it is. Maybe most likely what's going on. The truck is making the power more efficiently. Therefore, I need less throttle, right? Therefore, in this situation, quarter throttle. This truck, that's all I drive at, quarter throttle. A third throttle, as far as it goes, really. Half throttle is extreme case. So, the fact that I'm used to quarter throttle, and I'm losing, I'm not used to flooring my vehicle. So that's why I'm saying it's lazy to downshift. Like, we're going up a 6%, if not 7% hill right now. And I just gave a third throttle. Just trying to fight it out. So I don't necessarily exactly know how that changed. Is it the drive sensor seeing less back pressure that it doesn't see the need to, because I mean, everything's parameters, right? If it sees certain RPM, if it sees drive pressure, all this, right? It's going to downshift. A lot of things contribute to a downshift. It's not as simple as just speed. This ain't the good old school shift points at speed and call it a day. I mean, you got throttle position, you got a lot of things going on. So, like you saw there, it fought out the gear in fifth gear. It fought out it fought out the hill in fifth gear. I would prefer it to downshift, but on the flip side, it's preserving your transmission, Now, if you take it in a daily scenario, this is awesome. It's a rare occasion that I'm pulling this much weight behind the truck. I usually top it out, give or take, the whole load being 20,000 pounds, meaning load and trailer. But in this case, it's 18 plus 9, so I don't know, 8,000 above my normal load. So that's quite a bit of weight if you put it in perspective about capability, what they're capable of, this and that. And that's a high percentage that we're over, right? My average day. So the average load behind that truck would not slow down this truck up that hill that it just pulled it out in fifth gear. So, what's the conclusion? Guys, on that EGT probe, I'm lazy. I mean, I had all kinds of docks. I think back in the day it was a bully dock, and I have the probe, I have the wiring ran. When I gave up this truck to a driver, if you're new to the channel, I run a hotshot operation, not me. I got guys that run these trucks, and this was my personal truck for a long time. I sold it and then I got it back. When I gave it to a driver, I yanked all the wiring out. So I do have the ability to see the EGTs. I have old data, so I'll be able to do that. I'll do my best. I don't want to promise you because this whole EGT thing and my little monitor's been on my mind. I just haven't got to it. It's a me job. I can't just bring my truck to the shop and say, hey guys, here's a new manifold. Let's install it, right? I got to install my own little thing. So on a side note, I will run EGTs sooner or later, but I'll get that little monitor up and running, and we'll be able to tell on that as well. But to wrap up this video, should you not buy the manifold? If you're an average Joe, you just put around town, a not going to say no, but I definitely wouldn't swap the manifolds. Now, same Joe got a leaking exhaust manifold. So if the exhaust manifold gasket, in most cases, rare cases, manifold cracks and you need to change out the manifold, is coming off of the head, and if it's me, I definitely would put on a aftermarket manifold. This manifold has more heft to it, right? It has more meat, and I've done a video. If you're curious, go in my library, you'll see my videos. It has more strength to it. But if you're the guy towing, I would definitely put this manifold on. Truck's more relaxed, less drive pressure. Your turbo isn't getting spun to the moon. It at least doesn't sound like it. Just a more well-balanced experience. It's always these little things that make a big difference in the end. You know what I mean? Letting your truck breathe. Put in I have an SMB intake, right? A little bit more air. Hold on a second. I'm gonna have to take a right here. So lightly get on your brakes. Let the exhaust brake do all the braking for you. Don't get on your brakes, guys. It's a safety factor. It's a safety matter. And I started this whole downshift pattern by getting on the brakes. I don't know, a little bit of pressure. Transmission truck understood I want to slow down. So it being in tow haul mode and manual. Well, I know exactly what those people are doing. Someone's back is spasming, so they're getting their back pulled out. I feel for you, man. Anyways, exhaust brake, very important. But the thought thing with exhaust brake, I don't feel gains or losses with this manifold effect in the exhaust brake. I want to say, not because I put it in my head this way, I want to say the exhaust brake is a little bit more, it is more relaxed, but it has a little bit more backbone to it. So it's not just PSI, guys, it's volume as well. So that's why this is why it benefits the towing guy to have this manifold. He could flow better, stress your engine, drive pressure less, right? All the above. But at the same token, you're spooling your turbo just fine. Like I said, I believe I lost a little bit of drive around 1300, putt-putting around town. But when I'm towing, I don't feel any loss. Just a steady and healthy gain all through the power band. I know it comes down to positioning of the throttle, fueling, timing, all that. So, all in all, when I'm towing, two things that stand out. Engine sounds more relaxed, and it has more of a backbone. Are you going to feel night and day difference? No. But if you're mechanically inclined, you know exactly what I'm talking about. 12 to 15%, guys. That's what my butt dynos. I definitely like it. I'd put 20% on the auto sound of it and how it sounds. I would say backbone feeling, or the backbone, the strength, the pull that the truck has. 10 to 12%. 12% is what I want to say. You put it on a dyno. That's where it's really at. But the fact that all the cylinders, well, not all, but 3 on 3 are divided instead of going into a manifold log all at once. I think that's what keeps up with the spooling. Better flow, less pressure, but more volume, and it gets the job done better and more efficiently. Now, it's going to be kind of hard. Some of you guys complain that all I do is haul containers. No, you're wrong. But the container is a consistent thing. Same weight, same air resistance, right? As long as I keep the speed limit the same, I can tell you how I'm doing. Fuel mileage, I'm not complaining, but I can't tell you and say, yeah, last time I hauled this thing, I got this mileage. I just can't tell you. That's a mixture of unloaded and loaded miles. So once I get home, I'll have a better idea. But fuel mileage, empty, without a load, but just the gooseneck. Here, I'm a quarter throttle, and this thing's just being reluctant to downshift. I'll give it a third now. Turbo pressure went a little up, but it's still not downshifting. So this manifold did something, definitely, on the shifting pattern. I'm just guessing it's less back pressure, so the engine doesn't, quote unquote, see the pressure, so it doesn't command a downshift. But why is my throttle, right? Because I don't floor my vehicles, half throttle, extreme case. Right there, when I was trying to make a downshift, I did a third throttle. So if I really wanted a downshift, obviously give it more throttle. But being as relevant as possible, old manifold being stock manifold versus new manifold, I'm just underlining all the differences. Anyways, guys, I understand these videos aren't for everyone, but let me know what more of which videos you guys want to hear, and if this is your kind of videos, let me know what topic you want me to cover. I do remember I promised you guys might even do it right now after I wrap up this video. I promised you a video how I've kept my factory OEM manifold till 513,000 miles. If you're a Ram owner, like clockwork, 200,000-300,000 average. Some guys seeing them at 100 miles, 100,000 miles that they're losing gaskets and manifolds. So I'll promise you the video. I will do you the video, more of a elaboration what takes place and what really breaks those things. Anyways, guys, God bless you. Have an awesome day, and ciao.